everyone, this is Wendy. I'm going to be making a journal cover today. This is for another little challenge in Auntie Vera's Scrap and Craft that Sel and I, well, mainly Sel's running the junk journaling one, but we're going to be doing different types of covers for our journals. So with mine, I'm going to be using a recycled box, and I've chosen some papers to cover it with, and they're from, pardon me, the Graphic 45 Natural Notebook paper collection, and this, I got this from Auntie Vera's Scrap and Craft, if you're interested, for the ladies here in Australia. So it's such a beautiful paper collection, it really is, guys. So I have chosen, I think I'm leaning more towards this one here for the outside cover, because I want it for a base of a cover, of the cover, and I am going to be decorating the front of it, and maybe I can't really decide with the inside whether I want it, that one for the inside or the yellow, but I've got time enough before I actually decide that. Okay, so I'm going to prep my box. Now this is just a Malteser's ice cream box, yum yum. So, and I'll just give you the rough measurements that it's going to end up. It's going to be about 7 inches long, which is 18 centimetres, and 5 inches in width, which is about 13 centimetres. Now the spine is at 6 inches, which is about just over 2¼ inches, 6 centimetres, sorry, which is just over 2¼ inches. So we're only going to have one signature, but I'm thinking that somewhere along the line, when we start to decorate it inside and everything, I might end up making mine into like kind of a lap book, if you're interested in following along, because we're only going to put one signature, do a one signature journal, and I just, you know, my thing's to make lap books. Oh dear, I hope that's alright. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to plod along. You'll be able to get, you'll be inspired by Sel and myself when making a journal, hopefully. Okay, so I open up that, and then I find the join on the inside, and I just more or less rip that down, rip it opened. Okay, so this part here is going to be the size of my journal, and what I do now is just grab a ruler and a nice sharp blade of some type. You could use your board, but I just find it easier to do it this way, and I'm just going to cut off the excess parts around here. And when I go to cut these flaps off, I come on just on the inside. There's like a little kind of lip there, so I just cut it towards the inside. I don't go over that little lip. Okay, and then I do the same for the top and the bottom. And try and keep it nice and straight. Just move that one down a bit. And just do this end. It's a little bit ripped there, but that's okay. That's not going to matter at all. And the last little bit down here. Oops. Keep wobbling my ruler. Oops, I'm bending my blade too. Too much pressure on there. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. I've got a little bit crooked up here that I can see, so I'm just going to try and just straighten that off a bit. Like it's only by a fraction. There we go. See how that looks. Okay, that looks much better. Okay, so that's going to be my cover, the base of my cover. Now, it is a nice thick cardboard, and you know, I was going to actually you can use like this piece here and just cut it down a bit and reinforce your spine, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that because the paper that I'm using to cover mine has a little bit of thickness too, so the cover's going to be a lot solider when I put the decorative paper on it. And also I like putting a little bit of fabric on mine, so if you've got some what's it called, calico or something like that. I just brought in, I've got this material here that I actually picked up in an op shop, so you can, if you want to just strengthen your spine a little bit, you can use, you know, some fabric. This here is like a thin calico. It's more of like a cotton, thin, soft, I call it calico because of the colour. And this one is actually a bit stronger, and see, I'm thinking if I just put that down over the red, you're going to see the red underneath it, but that's okay because you can just add like a piece of white paper there. So that's what I might do. So I'm just actually going to cut that now while I've got that there. Okay. Oops, sorry guys, hit the tripod. And I cut it about, I don't know, I suppose about half an inch or 3/4 of an inch wider than the actual spine. Okay, so I'm going to use that, but I will just grab a piece of white paper, or I could do it, this is from, it's been ripped, it's one of the front pages from a book. Don't know if I want that black or want that white. I might just, I don't know, I can't make my mind up. I think I'll do it white. Okay, so with the paper, I'm just going to about half an inch either side. I'll just mark that to about there, and I'll put it right up to the top, and that should be alright. And I'll just cut that. Oh, I should be using my new board, shouldn't I? Oh, my new guillotine. Okay, so where does it actually cut there? Okay. Oh, you've seen it first here. How cool is that? Okay, and this one gets cut about there. Oh, I like that. Just got to remember to keep fingers out of the road. Okay. Okay, so I've got a piece of paper to cover up my spine, and I'm just going to use a glue stick. Put the glue and just put that right there. Yeah, that looks okay. I'll grab my bone folder and just press that down. It's really just mainly to tack it in place, because I will be doing a little bit of sewing around my journal cover. Okay, and just gently press those down there. So we've got that nice covering, and a little bit wonky up here, so I'll just trim that back. Okay, alright, so we've got that. And put some of this on here. What you can do if you wanted to, see the paper, it's just a bit, I suppose it's about 12.5 inches in length, so you could join two of these papers together and have a long piece to cover it, but I want the spine to be different, to be left like a fabric spine. So I'm actually just going to cut like a panel here and a panel here for the front and back cover. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to glue that down, and I'm going to use a wet glue. Oops, sorry, everybody guys. Has got different ways of doing their covers. This is just the way I'm comfortable with doing mine. Just want to see what side that fabric, there's a little bit of texture on there, so I think I might actually have that one showing. So am I going to get glue out of this? That's the whole problem. Okay, I'll try again. It's only got a very small hole. And I don't think it's going to... Oh, here we go. We have movement. Okay. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on there. So I've put that on there. So all I'm going to do now is actually just turn that piece over. I will just straighten up this edge a bit so there's no bulk. So turn that edge over and just put some glue on the inside there. Now I may need just a clip just to hold that in place. Just until that glue, it tacks to the glue. And then turn it up and do the same for this side here. And another clip. Okay, so that's fine there. Now while that's drying, I am going to grab the measurements that I want for my panels. So I'm thinking it's 5 inches, the width there. So I'm just going to, these papers are so beautiful, I have a hard time deciding what pattern I want showing. Because look at the butterflies there, they're gorgeous. But I think I'm still going to stick with this one. Yes. Okay, so this is 12 inches long. I am going to just cut that in half at 6 inches. Just like that. So I've got my front and my back. And the height, which would be 7 inches, I just want 1 inch either side, so these two I'm going to cut down to 9 inches, so that'll give me roughly 1 inch at the top and the bottom of the cover. Also, just keep your off bits if you're using pattern paper, because we are going to do some projects and we can use up all these little scrappy bits. Okay, right, so this one is going to go on the back and this one is going to go on the front. So I'm just going to see if this is dry enough to, yeah, it should be. Okay, so all I do to put mine on, it doesn't matter if your box is upside down, maybe turn it up the right way and then we'll be fine. Okay, you really need to let your glue dry. Okay, that is important when you do your cover for your journal, but because I'm doing it in video, I am going to just keep going. So I've just roughly bent that to find out where the spine starts at the front. Okay, which that looks alright, I think, just there. So, and you could just check to make sure with the line on the inside here. So all I'm going to do, because I'm going to be sewing mine, I just really want to tack mine on to my cover. So just to tack it on, I'm just going to grab some double-sided tape and just put a strip of the tape on the inside of each panel. Right, now, okay, we'll start this off. It's got to go up that way, like that. So I can just flip that over there and pull my tape off, and I can line that up straight so I know I've got a straight covering, and I'm just going to line up just a little bit before the inside of the spine at the top and the bottom, and roughly 1 inch on either side here as well. And I'm just going to press that down onto the double-sided tape. Okay, so it lifts up, and then you can come this side here and just do that little fold, and you can see that the edge is lined up really nicely with the spine fold. Okay, so I'm going to do them one at a time. Then all I do is grab my bone folder, or you know, if you've got one of these little ball things, and I just gently, I prefer my bone folder because it's a bit bigger, and just gently crease down around the outside edge of my cover, just like that, and just like that. Okay, then I am going to cut the corners off, and when I cut the corners I leave about 1/8 of an inch on the point on either end. So there's that one and that one, and then I can gently fold that over, gently fold that one over, and fold that one in just like that. And when you leave the 1/8 of an inch, you cover up that corner there. Okay, so I'm just going to continue using some double-sided tape because I know I'm going to be sewing, and I'm going to sew right around the edge. I'm going to put the tape on the opposite side to where I'm sewing, just so that when I go to sew, my machine is not going to get caught on this double-sided tape, because it has a hissy fit, it really does. Okay, so just around 3 sides there. So, and that's really just to hold that on until I do some stitching. Okay, so we can fold that up there and fold that one up there. I haven't got that stuck down. And we can fold that one over there. Okay, so I will just give that a burnish. Alright, so that is going to be the front of my journal. I haven't put any glue or tape right along there because I'm actually going to be stitching that on my machine. But if you haven't got a machine, you really need to like fill that up with glue and make sure that you've glued down the side there near your spine. Okay, so there's that one. Now I can do this one, make sure I've got it up the right way. That looks pretty right, and I'm going to flip it and take the tape off there, and I'll line that up there so I know it's nice and straight. And then I can bring this one in and just line it up like I did before. It's just on the left hand side of the fold of the crease, and roughly about 1 inch either side, and then I can just stick that down onto that double-sided tape, and then just go around and just crease my edges. I use my bone folder and just score around the edges, just to make sure that when I do fold it over like this, that the paper isn't going to rip. Sometimes that has happened. Okay, and then we'll just cut that out and leave about 1/8 of an inch at the point. Okay, and we can crease that up. Crease that one down. And you want to make sure that you don't go over your crease mark there, which I think I'm getting pretty close on that one there. So I might just actually just do a little miter cut just there, and on this one here too. The other ones were pretty spot on perfect, so I'm just going to miter cut that edge there, because it just takes that bulk away from the spine fold. Okay, and the same here, we'll put a bit of tape right to the edge so it doesn't interfere with my needle on my sewing machine. I'm sorry if you can hear that noise out there, guys. I don't know what's going on there. I don't really want to know. Okay, so we'll pull that off, and we shall press that down. And when you are folding over your top and bottom flaps, don't like pull it up, because you don't want to put any tension so that your base cover, like, it won't fold up. So you just kind of like, after you do your scoring, then you just gently press it down. Okay, you don't want it to, you don't want the tension on it really really strong. What's the word? I don't know. You don't want to pull the tension on it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Something like that anyway. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's the back and that's the front. And that looks pretty cool. I like that. I like the contrast of the creamy with the dark blue. So what I'm going to do now, instead of, I would just go and use my sewing machine and go all the way around, okay, but this time I am going to do the inside, and I'm going to have it covered front and outside and inside. I'm going to have it all covered, and then I'm going to use my machine. So for the inside here, I'm just going to use another piece of the calico, or the fabric that I used. It's not really calico, it's just it's a nice strong weavy type fabric. So I am going to cut another piece. So let me think, just about here I shall cut. When I'm making my journals, I don't really measure anything. You know, if you're a stickler for measuring, you know, go ahead and do it. I just kind of like put it down. Oh yeah, it needs to be cut there, so you know, I snip it and cut it. So here, the inside, I want to come out about half an inch either side with the fabric, because that is actually going to be under, this fabric's going to be under my inside cover. Okay, so I've got that there, and just roughly there, so I'll snip that. Oops. Okay, so I pulled that which doesn't matter, you know. Okay, so I'm going to use this edge here. I do like to have a little bit of fraying on the bottom of my edges. So, but I do like the fraying to be rather even, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit. Okay, so measure that there, and what I might do, I'm just going to fold that up in half up to the top part, just there, so that I can just cut that and get a straight edge, or rather straight edge I should say. Okay, and that'll give me a little bit of room then to just fray that edge. Okay, right, and I can just snip off these little dangly bits here that just started to annoy me. Okay, alright, so that is going to be glued down there. And I don't mind this just overhanging like about 1/8 of an inch on the ends. So what I'm going to do with that, just grab my tacky glue again, if it's going to work for me. Maybe not. Yes, here it comes. So I'm just going to put some just roughly around here and a little bit in the center to hold that. Work out the side I want showing, which I actually think I want that side showing. I'll just snip that off again. Little danglies. Okay, and we'll just place that on there with a little bit of overhang at the top and the bottom. Okay, and just give it a press down. It's crunch time to work out what colour I want on my inside. Oops, so I have a yellow with the blue. Okay, but then I also have, I really like this one too. I like the so I just wanted to see which one I like better. I actually like them both. So what I might do, that one's got bees on it. I don't really want bees. This one here has got flowers and butterflies on it. But I want something rather plain. Oh, I shouldn't say plain because the paper really isn't plain, but I want something, then I was going to say boring. Oh my goodness. Oh, Wendy, get a grip. I want something, a plain pattern, because the other things are going to be going on it. So I don't really want to put, you know, this gorgeous pattern paper down because it's going to get covered up. I would rather use this pattern paper to make like a pocket or something like that out of. Okay, so what I might do, I'll use this. I think I will. I'll use this one. So I just need, I'm going to cut that strip off there. Okay, we'll cut that off. And it was, what was it, 5 inches? I'm just going to re-measure that. So it kind of like gets folded up there. So that is exactly 5 inches in width. So I am going to cut it at, say, 4, is it 4 7/8? I think that's right. Yeah. So that's 4 1/2, that's 4 3/4, and another 1/8 of an inch after that. Okay, so it's 4 3/4 and another 1/8 of an inch there, which I think it's set 4 3/8, isn't it? Is that right? I shall just check that to make sure. Oh look, that's perfect. I have about an 1/8 of an inch before the fold. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, and we want to cut that. I'm just going to mark that one right there for the height, which is 6 7/8. It's like 1. Okay, so we've got that one there, and now I shall just cut another one at 4 7/8 right there. And this one is at 6 7/8 right there. Okay, so cut my 2 inside panels. I have my inside front panel and inside back panel. That is going to sit there like that, and I'm going to leave a little bit of an edging around there. So that one's there, and this one goes there. And when they're folded, they're about an 1/8 of an inch or just under a 1/4 of an inch away. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tack these onto here, like I did with the first ones. So I just to tack them on, I just put a little bit of double-sided tape in the center, and then I lay that down to exactly where I want it to stay, and I want to leave that little edge around the outside. So I'll leave that one there. Oh, double-sided tape. And this one, I want to leave a little edge like the other side, just there. Oh, sneezels on my diesels. Okay, so I've got that tacked on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go around and stitch around the front and back panel, and also I'm going to stitch around my spine, and then I shall come back, guys, and show you what that's like. Okay, alright everyone, I am back. As you can see, I have stitched around each panel, the front and back, and I've also put a zigzag on my spine, only because I like the look of that. And I just used black cotton because that's what was in my machine, but I did use a fancy little stitch this time, which because normally I'd zigzag around this as well, but I just thought, oh, I'll try something different. Okay, and I do like to actually stitch when I can, or where it's appropriate, I do like to stitch the fabric down on my spine, because when you close it up it doesn't buckle. So that is my cover for my journal. Now, to me it's not finished. Now I am going to be adding just one signature in the center, but instead of sewing it in, I'm actually going to pop a hole up the top and pop a hole down the bottom, and I'm going to put some eyelets in, if I can. I think I've got a couple of blue ones here. I was thinking bluey green. I've got green or blue, so that's the green, and I don't have any of my, and that's the blue. Oh, I've got a couple of big ones there. Silver. Now the baby's crying. Oh, come on, baby. Okay, so I have got a couple here of these bigger ones. Yeah, I'll just use silver. Why not? Okay. So to do that, I just use one of these. And what I'll do is just roughly mark where my center is, and about 1/8 of an inch from my stitching, top and bottom. That looks about right. And then punch a hole, this one, and sometimes the fabric doesn't cut properly, so I just kind of like snip that off. Okay, and put my eyelet in, and just, so when I do my eyelets, I kind of like just when I go to press my eyelets, I kind of squeeze just a little, like gently, and then when I feel that it's it hasn't got any tension on the back, then I give it a really good squeeze and it doesn't break. Okay, so that's just one of my little tips for you all, because some of the eyelets are quite temperamental. You know, you could squeeze them and then they completely snap at the back. Like, it doesn't really matter if that does happen, but it's just annoying, you know. You want to kind of like get a really nice back on it. Okay, so put this in there, and we just give it a little firm, a little soft squeeze, I suppose I should say, and then a nice firmer one, and it doesn't crack. Alright, the very last part before I finish this video is to actually just thread. I've got some hat elastic here, and that's what I'm going to thread it through my eyelets, and that's what I'm going to be using to hang my journal or attach my journal. Okay, so when I go to put my hat elastic in, I tie it in like one knot, and I just give it a nice firm pull, and then I hang on to that there. So I put it back down there, and I feel the tension on it, and to me that tension's still a little bit loose, but you don't want to pull it too tight because it will buckle in the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to give that another pull, and hold that there. Oh, and I let it go. Goodness sake, Wendy. Okay, we'll start again. Okay, so I've given that a nice firm pull on the elastic, and see, to me, did you notice the difference in that clicking? I don't know if you can hear it, but that is a nice firmer tension on the elastic, so I'm happy with that. So then I'm going to tie a couple of knots, if I can. I feel like I'm all thumbs, and if I let go of that, that's going to spring back open again. Okay, we'll do it this way, Wendy. Okay, we'll tie that in there, and hopefully I've kept the tension on that elastic. Okay, let me see. Oh, I have. Look at that. Okay, so that's just a really nice firm tension, and I know that that is going to hold my journal on there and hold it close to the spine just nicely. And then I just cut that elastic off at about, I don't know, about an inch, 3/4 of an inch up from there, and I just leave that there because that goes, the journal will go in underneath that. Alright, so that's it, guys. I'll finish this video off here now, and I shall be back and decorate the front of this and get the papers ready for the journal. And then decorating time, yay! That will be so good. Okay, you all have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.